huge card on slate today.
15-game card. It's us versus the bookies. Bases loaded, high noon. It's going to be a showdown.
On a suddenly not so casual Friday, the buy hat is engaged. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to MLB Bases Loaded on this Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, June the 9th, 2026. Big card in our hands today. We got 15 games, 7 series openers. I just posted on X about it. I said it is ace day in the league. A lot of great pitching matchups tonight. Great information. Mike, we're fired up coming off a nice card yesterday. How you feeling this morning, brother?
Man, we were talking a little bit about it backstage, you guys. What a Monday. It wasn't just that we were dominant in most of the facets of the game. We had a really nice best bets day, but dude, we were even calling exact scores, player props. What a way to beat the books. And I'm looking forward to seeing if we can do it again today, Shark. We do our best work on these full cards.
Yes, we do. And we only get an opportunity in the week to do really 2 huge cards. I was looking at it before, Tuesday and Friday. Wednesday, occasionally, we get 15 as well. But this is the first big card of the week. It is just afternoon on the East Coast. If you guys are in the chat, get lunch, talk to us. If you're on the West Coast, get your coffee. We're going to fire off. Big card, a lot of plays. I honestly have a look for almost every single game on this card. I'm excited to get in here with you guys. Please drop your comments. We will engage you along the way. And let's get down to business on a suddenly not so casual Tuesday afternoon, June the 9th, 2026. First game of the card. No matinees today. We're going business and we're going nighttime baseball. 6:35 in Baltimore. Mariners at Orioles, game 2 of this series. Logan Gilbert at Trevor Rogers. Interesting spot here. Yesterday, I gave you guys the Mariners. They took care of business. Maybe a bounce back tonight. Mike, what's going on here?
It's a tricky spot for sure. I mean, look at there's argument to be had for both sides of this thing here. Baltimore trying to bounce back. You know, the thing about this one, so we got to look at a couple things, right? The cash flow splits usually kind of give us a good weather vane. Which way is the wind blowing? Well, the wind's blowing on the Mariners, and the books aren't buying it. In fact, they're making it more attractive to bet those Mariners. So I'm going to look at the home team here in the AL East battle. You know, there's a number that I found, and it kind of surprised me a little bit because on one regard, yeah, you want to kind of fade Trevor Rogers. In fact, if you fade Trevor Rogers on a total over 6.5, you're profitable. You're won 64.5% of the time. You are coming off a loss, so you do have to kind of recognize that. But I found a number with Trevor Rogers, man. Non-divisional starts for Trevor Rogers as a dog. And the funny part about it is if they were a dog in their previous games. So you're kind of have like a shit team with a shit pitcher, and the books just don't know how to compensate for it. And that's why I'm going to take the Baltimore Orioles in this game here. Plus 108. And as much as I say they're a shit team, I still think the Mariners on the road here. 500 with Logan Gilbert, but I think Trevor Rogers can show them a little something out there. We'll take the Baltimore Orioles here full game. I'm going to look at this first 5 as well, Shark. How are we kicking the card off?
Yeah, you know, I had the Mariners hat on yesterday. Guys, you see the color of my shirt? Is that a Mariners color? Absolutely not. The buy hat is engaged. We're taking the Orioles on the money line here. And as I said, bounce back, zigzag. This is where you want to buy low. And you look at yesterday, part of the reason I gave you guys the Mariners yesterday was due to the fact that the Orioles were coming home off international travel from Toronto, and they had played 13 consecutive games against the American League East. It was flat. It was tough travel, and I expected them to underperform. Now this is where they come back. They're 4-1 last 5 at home, staying at home off a previous loss. So very much a home bounce back team. And I think this really is kind of a bounce back environment for Trevor Rogers. That 6.29 ERA is fraudulent, in my opinion, due to an injury cluster he really encountered about a month and a half ago. He looked absolutely terrible for about 6 weeks. His last start, he seemed to turn the corner, holding the Red Sox to only 1 run. And he has deflated peripherals in his last 2 starts. Interestingly enough for this matchup, Logan Gilbert here, road pitcher, talk about deflated stats. Only 3 earned runs this year on the road in 35 innings pitched. But here's the caveat. Not one of those starts was on Eastern time. And if you go back to last year, on Eastern time, 9 starts, he was actually 6-3 to the over, underperforming in this spot, 18 earned runs in 35 2/3 innings pitched. Absolute final point on this, Mike. You're talking about the line and the line moving down towards the Orioles. I couldn't agree more. These pitchers faced off in this stadium last year on August 13th. Gilbert at Rogers. Rogers caught a dub, 4-3. Seattle was favored in the market, -150. Moved down 35 points. Books saw a win. They think another win is coming. The buy hat is engaged. Take it and let's cash. Our guy in the chat says, I like the O's as well. I also think you're going to see runs in this game. As I said, I think Gilbert is an over pitcher on the road at Eastern time. Let's keep it moving down the line, and let's go to Florida. Next game on the card.
Something pretty exciting about this one, Shark. We got Arizona-Miami kicking off game number 1 on a little southeastern corner of the world here. Max Meyer going to start with Zach Gallen. Gallen, bloated peripherals at a 5.32. But Miami, are you surprised they're a home favorite, Shark? What are you going to do in this one?
Absolutely not. I have another hat here, and I'm excited to put it on. It's not going to correlate to my shirt, but who cares? We're in Florida. It's water. Ride the wave or get out of the water. The buy hat is engaged. And what's going on in this game? Max Meyer. This guy's an absolute genius at home. 7-0 at home. 4-0 at home outside of the division. And, when I look at data and I look at how data works and functions, I try to find, is something sustainable or not? I've seen enough, and I've touted this guy up every single time he pitches. He's in his prime. He's in his late 20s. He's from Minnesota. I like his mental angle. And if you look at the line in this particular matchup, last year he did pitch well at home against Arizona, caught a loss 6-2, but Arizona was favored in the game, -145. This is moving 75 points towards Meyer against Zach Gallen. You talk about Gallen here. Gallen is an absolute gas can on the road. He's 1-5 on the road. He's 0-5 on the road. In the first game going on the road, only win was actually a road game staying on the road. His numbers are absolutely horrendous. 23 earned runs in 27 1/3 innings pitched, 7 home runs against. This is going to be batting practice. Mike, I'll throw it back to you. This is a series opener for the Marlins, but can they fight through the chaos?
You read my mind there, brother. I was thinking the same thing. It's a series opener. We don't necessarily want to be involved in the Marlins, but in all fairness, the counter, Arizona's not that great in season openers. You talk about it all the time. I concur. It's the cluster effect out there. And yeah, we're going to follow 162. We're going to ride wins. We're going to ride losses. Home favorites on that winning streak after letting up less than 2 runs do go out and dominate this season, 95-42 over the past 12 months. So got to respect a 70% win streak here. And Max Meyer, to your point, guy's a killer. Got great home field advantage. I don't know if he likes to bump. I don't know if he likes the weather. I don't know if he likes the women. I'm sure maybe it's a combination of all of those here, but Max Meyer 7-0 on the beach, my friend. I like it. Buy hat engaged, and I concur.
Yeah, as you said, Arizona not traveling well here either. I mean, this is a West Coast team coming across the country. They're actually 0-2 in series openers, NL out of the division. Not coincidentally, both on a Tuesday night as well. At Eastern time. This is all over. The Marlins buy hat is engaged. We both align on this one. I love to see it. Let's cash and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card. Where are we going next here? We're going to Tampa Bay. Red Sox Rays. Game 2 of this series. You saw it last night. We kind of split the market in terms of our projection on the show yesterday. We told you guys we thought the Red Sox would get the win. They did not. We told you guys the game would be low scoring. It was 3-1 final. Now you get a matchup. Rematch, actually, Peyton Tolat, Nick Martinez. These pitchers did face off at Fenway Park in recent history. Martinez did catch the win, low-scoring game. Mike, a repeat tonight? What do you think?
It's a tricky spot, man. I really liked Boston last night. I was a little surprised at the outcome out there. Nicky Martinez has been my guy. He's been catching wins as well, but I think I got to stick with Tampa in this case. I don't love this game. It's not one of my favorites on the board, but just looking at it at the big picture, like this is one of them spots where you say, well, we talked about Miami and kind of their home with Max Meyer on the bump. How about Nick Martinez when he plays AL opponents? He stomps on him. He's 7-1 in his last 8. And in all fairness, he's coming off a loss. So regarding AL opponents and the ability to see them on a regular basis, including the AL East, who he sees and stomps on a regular spot there, everything considered, you look at these numbers, it's very hard to get a gauge other than to say Martinez got more time doing it. He might be slipping a little bit, but this is kind of like shame on us yesterday. Getting Boston, Tampa was a price tag that was plus money, and I think we're kind of there again tonight. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I'm going to give you guys the under in the game, and it's actually getting steamed significantly now. You can still get 7.5. It's actually probably going to creep down to 7 shortly in the market, and I think for good reason. Mike, as you said, Martinez has owned the division this year. He's been great. So has Peyton Toll. And it's actually a really, really nice statistical sell high for both pitchers in terms of the total. Toll actually comes in here 3-0 last 3 versus the over. But the key point there is all games outside of the division. So this is an environmental shift. And Martinez is also 3-0 last 3 versus the home over, all out of the division, which I absolutely love. He's 3-1 versus the under in the division. And as I mentioned, these guys did face off in a game in Boston Sunday, May 10th, 4-1 final. Key point on the line, this is line functionality, and it is very precise. Same team, same pitchers. That was an 8.5 line. Now moved down by 1 full run. I have this game to max out at 6 runs. Love the under. Mike, you align with that, I believe?
Yeah, I like that spot too. That's a good look.
Absolutely. Take the under and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. Big dog stuff, gentlemen. I was posting about it on X, and we will talk about it now. Paul Skeens in the park last night in Pennsylvania, channeling the good vibes. Playing with the kids, no more kiddie games. He gets the champs on the bump tonight at PNC Park. Mike, you don't like Skeens. It's not personal. It is business. What's going on here tonight?
Well, the misconception is I don't like Skeens, but I don't know. How many home runs does Skeens have this year? How many hits? How many walks even does he have? How many times has he trotted his ass to first base instead out there, taking off his batting helmet, taking the glove off, putting the stealing base glove on? And the answer is 0. So, look, there's this overconfidence that just because Skeens is out there that he's going to go and shove. And I think that there's an underestimation on Lauer in this case here. I get it. At least the lines are a little more reasonable, coming down to like a minus 112 here. But you still have the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are in bounce-back form. The funny part about this is, despite where you're seeing the number open, 37% of the bets, 41% of the cash are on the Pirates. It's come down. I mean, you can get minus 104s even against the initial opener. So kind of a little bit of a, I don't want to call that a red flag entirely. It is the Dodgers. There are a lot of people that love LA. We love LA, but I am going to take the Dodgers today. I think this is another one of them spots here where it's like, hey, look, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the lefty game 1 advantage? Okay, we got that. Check the box. Lefties against righties? Check the box. We got Dodgers off a big loss, and that's that spot last night. I gave you guys the Astros. I said the Angels had to have their chest puffed out there. Could they go deep and have the mental fortitude come 8th and 9th inning? And the answer was no. They lost it in extras. And guess what? The Dodgers, off a big loss, in that big favorite role, they're 31-6 in the bounce back spot over the 7-year period. So, yeah, unless, I'll put a caveat out there, unless Paul Skeens makes his way into the batting order, I don't care if he's pitching or not. Give me Eric Lauer, give me the LA Dodgers, and give me a minus 102. Actually, plus 104 price tag.
I've been wanting to put this hat on for the last week and a half. And
Is it the wool guy?
Oh, baby, it is. The buy hat is engaged.
You love Paul Skeens.
Skeens is my dude. I like these big dogs who date beautiful women. He's right in my wheelhouse there. But no, when you look at this game, this is really a high-level handicap for me. And, Mike, you're talking about, is he going to hit? Is he going to run? I don't know if he needs to do anything. Not that he would, but I don't know if he needs to. 2 starts last year against the Dodgers, 2-0, 12 1/3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, road and home. Skeens turns up to Game 7 quality when he is facing the Dodgers. And our guy in the chat says Pirates owned the Dodgers last year. You're not lying. 4-2 versus, what's that?
There's no way they're going to win then. Go ahead.
4-2 last year. Swept the Dodgers at home in September, actually. September 2nd through the 4th. 3-0 in the series. And as I mentioned, Skeens 2-0. Caught a road win against Yamamoto last April, 3-0, and beat Blake Snell at home 5-3. You talk about Lauer and the Dodgers here. The Dodgers are traveling east off a series. I don't love the travel. It's not really the strong point of my handicap, however. I do like selling Lauer in this spot. Only his second start for the Dodgers. 1-0 on the road. You want to talk about an environmental split? That was a divisional game at Arizona. This is an out-of-division game on Eastern time, and the line agrees. He was a small favorite at Arizona. Did catch a win, -120. Mike, you had him there actually last week. Eric Lauer, -120 at Arizona. You got the win. Now the books move the line the other direction. Pittsburgh is a small favorite. I think this is my classic handicap outside of the classic hat. Let the line tell you the story. Lauer, small favorite on the road win. Lauer, small dog on the road loss. I love it, Paul Skeens. You're the man. I don't know if Livy Dunn's going to be in the building saying, oh, fuck, when he gives up a home run in the first inning, but I do see a dub here tonight. Mike, any further comments or keeping it moving?
I just wonder, when you talk about line functionality, and there's a lot of factors that I look at this thing, like Lauer was a Blue Jay last year. Then you talk about the West Coast, East Coast, but reality is teams that move West Coast to East Coast have the advantage. The body clock's fucked up when you move East Coast to West Coast. And then on top of that, the Dodgers checked out of that Angels game, so they were looking ahead to Paul Skeens and beating down on this Pirates team. So it'll be interesting. Maybe they'll have too many Brandy Brothers sandwiches and can't get themselves to swing the bat the way they normally do. But this should be a fun game. This should be a fun series as well because, in all fairness, the Pirates, man, that offense, we talked about this like way back at the start of the season when I was kind of crapping on some of these Pirates pitchers out there saying they don't have the bats to back it up. Well, I think this year they do. I think they made some offensive moves, and you can't just discount the Pirates because of that, but I'll discount Skeens because of the fact that he ain't pitching or he ain't hitting, he ain't batting, he ain't running unless it's into Livy Dunn's arms.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him, if I'm being honest.
No, I'm not faulting him for it.
I haven't actually gotten there yet, but in best bets, we might revisit this in terms of Pittsburgh first five as well. Given the dynamic with Skeens giving up 0 earned runs against this lineup last year over 12 innings pitched, I see him shoving. And the game last year that got a little tight at PNC Park between the Dodgers at Skeens, the Dodgers actually scored 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning. So I think that Pittsburgh will get a lead early in this game. And I think it does correlate to Pittsburgh actually coming off a sweep themselves, just got swept at Atlanta. They have performed well off a sweep this season. Great stuff here. Great handicap, great conversation. And we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, divisional baseball in Detroit. Twins at Tigers, opening up a series tonight. The Taj Mahal travels to Detroit to Troy Melton. Mike, when I was trying to handicap this before, I was kind of tongue twisted up with all these pitchers for Detroit. They got Ty Madden, they got Troy Melton, and they got somebody else. Some other guy with basically the same name. It's kind of crazy. This guy Melton looking pretty good in the market. You like your guy Taj Mahal? What's going on here?
Yeah, this is kind of I don't know if it's a contrarian. Look, why is Detroit a favorite at -131? That's a red flag right there if you're thinking about Minnesota. Plus, we know Minnesota's the cluster effect of then some here. I think what's going to happen, and a lot of people have kind of speculated on this, so I don't think I'm kind of breaking news here, but probably going to see Skubal get his way out of town, make his way to a contender. Maybe he ends up with an Astros or even a Mariners or something like that. If he goes to the Yankees, it's all but over at this point, right? But talk about a cluster team, and the Minnesota Twins, when they score 5 or more runs, I've said it before, they lose. They're 51-24 in the fade spot out there. And frankly, if it wasn't for Taj Mahal, I would not be considering these guys whatsoever. But the thing about that is Taj Mahal's in a bad spot as well. He's coming off a loss. I kind of see, what are they calling him? The Minnesota Miracle now? I don't know. I mean, I like his strikeout numbers. He's got some great K-prop percentage opportunities out there. And I think this is another low scoring affair. So I'm not, again, nothing fancy, nothing putting my neck out on the line other than saying I would have to look to the Detroit side of this thing, if not anything, but under 8.5 feels like a good spot for me to get involved here. I like the Tigers. I like the under. I don't love either spot in this game, though.
Yeah, this is not one of my top games either. This is just a tough spot. I mean, this guy Troy Melton's actually projected to be a really high quality, and of course, that's why the Tigers could move on from Skubal. They do have a lot of very above average young arms in their rotation. First home start of the year, though, which is a little weird. He's been on the road for 3 consecutive starts, has looked absolutely great. Only 4 earned runs in 20 and 2/3 innings pitched, but home start one is different. You got a different crowd. It's a different environment, maybe a little more pressure even to perform in front of the home fans. So I could see Minnesota maybe competing. Bradley's inconsistent. Just giving you guys a little conversation on the situation that is Troy Melton on Tuesday, June the 9th, 2026. That is that for that one, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the
Will it be funny if Troy Melton becomes your guy? When he gets on the bump, all of a sudden it's like, oh man, Sharks the Troy Melton whisperer. We'll see. We'll keep our eyes on it. San Diego State University. He's Ramon Scott's guy.
Well, you're seeing truths already because I did back him in the previous game at Tampa Bay last Wednesday in a 7-2 win. So
I feel like we talked about that guy last week. I felt like that name was I don't know. I felt like it was a Shark name.
Yeah, that was when we were telling you guys that Tampa was capped in the market. Detroit actually swept them in that series on the road, and we did get Melton. He shoved 8 innings, 2 earned runs in the matchup. But first home start, we will see. And let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, Yankees at Guardians, game 2 of this series. Garrett Cole at Slade Ciccone. Both pitchers just faced off against these teams last week. Cole caught a loss at home. Ciccone, a tight one at the stadium as well. Mike, matchup 2 between these pitchers and these teams. What's going on here?
Love the tag for the Yankees in this spot, you guys. Cleveland, look, yesterday I had the under. I think I gave you guys Yankees, Warren over 4.5. In fact, I know Yankees were plus 113. Warren was over 4.5 strikeouts, and then the under 8. And of course, I go with the under 8 as a best bet, and everything else cashed. So I was able to live bet them Yankees. I felt pretty good about that. AL East outside of the division, you know what I've said about that before. But for me, the biggest thing, Shark, is the zigzag when it comes to pitching matchups, and they just saw each other. And so Yankees going on the road. Very surprised that the Guardians were able to slide in there and make themselves competitive against the Yankees team that, to me, the Yankees have offense despite the Ohtani factor, and the Guardians don't. But man, I'll hand it to the Guardians. They're going to be themselves a contender down the line because you look at these guys finding a way to sneak it out. I said that yesterday. They just find a way to sneak out and scratch out these 1-run wins here. But I still got to go back to the Yankees today. I just, again, the tag, maybe there's a little tax. Maybe they shouldn't be quite this tag, but AL Central opponents and Garrett Cole have a beautiful romanticized history. Garrett Cole, 30-6 against AL Central opponents. And guess what, Shark? He's coming off the loss, as you pointed out. So give me the Yankees. Give me Garrett Cole.
I agree. I actually didn't bring the hat into the studio here, but I would put it on. I like the Yankees officially with you. And not only that, the dominance by Cole over this division, you're just seeing great zigzagging patterns in his season so far. He missed all last year, so we have 3 games to go on here, but 0-2 at home, took a 4-2 loss to Tampa Bay, and most recently, as we mentioned, 5-4 against Cleveland. I gave you guys Cleveland in that game. It was Gavin Williams. I said Gavin's going to beat Cole on the road. Now I think that he gets the revenge, and he goes to Progressive Field and gets the W tonight, and not coincidentally for this, again, small window, off his previous home loss. What did he do? Road start Wednesday, May 27th at the AL Central, Kansas City, 7-0 Yankees, no problem, 6 2/3, 4 hits, no walks, great control, 10 strikeouts. This guy's an absolute dog. He's an absolute gamer. I remember when I first started really following him, he actually pitched for the Pirates coming out of UCLA.
Yeah.
Then he went to Houston with Verlander, Greinke. And I remember even in the days of Verlander, late prime, Cole caught my eye. He is an absolute trash-talking assassin, to use Mike's word. He loves to compete. He will be absolutely pissed off. And Slade Ciccone, as the final point, has been awful this year at home. Slade performs much better on the road. He is incredibly inflated at home. I think the Yankees could absolutely open up margin in this game. I might look towards the run line in this game also in best bets, Mike. I think we might get to a nice little -1.5. That's it for that one. Take the Yankees. Garrett Cole, let them know who's boss, my dude. And Mike, let's let them know who's boss with a nice little like video.
Appreciate everybody tuning in today. Make sure you leave a comment post-show. Tell us your favorite play of the day. Tell us if you're tailing. Tell us if you're fading. And take a second and hit that thumbs up if you like the content.
Appreciation is appreciated, guys. If you haven't dropped a like, it just takes about 10 seconds. Honestly, we love you guys. We respect you guys. I look at the video and I see hundreds and thousands of people watching and like 20 likes. Guys, get undistracted. Click the like. Let's grow this channel together. We appreciate you guys immensely. And let's keep it moving down the line. Next game on the card, going back to Toronto tonight. I love it. I'll say it again. We're going to say this all year. 7:07 in Toronto. It is going down. Dylan Cease returns from the injury list against Zach Wheeler. Mike called the game correctly last night. It was Christopher Sanchez. He shoved. We called the game basically spot on to the final score, 5-2. Now we get Cease on the bump. Mike, what's going on here?
Yeah, it wasn't basically spot on. It was right down the rip. I said 1.5, said over 20.5 for Sanchez. You came out and said this game's got a 5-2 feel to it. Then you gave some validation behind it. I texted you when it was 5-2, and I said, what? And that was glorious, man. But listen, we're at today. We got to be in the present. We got to look at these two pitchers, Zach Wheeler, Dylan Cease. Probably get an opportunity for another lower scoring game, but I'm going to take a shot with the Blue Jays to bounce back here. It just feels like, the AL East against the NL East. I think the AL East has got the stronger opportunity behind it. We see that they're minus 111 here as an opener for the line itself. It's come down a little bit, but you got a lot of action here. 74% of the bets, 79% of the cash firing on the Phillies and Zach Wheeler. But they're becoming a small dog in this case, and that's a bit of a flag for me as well. So I look at this one, and I like what's happening, Philadelphia-wise here. I think they're heating up to become one of the best teams in the NL. Obviously, the Dodgers and Phillies want to go right back at it again, but to me, you get Springer back. He's getting healthy. You're getting the squad back. You got the Jays at home. Lots of score. I mean, they're 500 right now, but they also dealt with a myriad of injuries early, and I think they can kind of overcome some of that now. Phillies, not to be shit on by any stretch, but some of the history for this Blue Jays team is they lose in that ace pitching role, and then they fire back and they win and they win. They did it against Baltimore. They got stomped 13-3. They came back with 2 consecutive 6-4 victories. I think we see something similar today. Let's go Jays.
Yeah, I agree. And you talk about the market steam here. I'm looking at the opening number. Philly's small opening favorite, right around minus 112, minus 115, and actually now moving towards Toronto. I do agree. And we're really running down the line of hats today. We're going to the north of the border buy hat. The buy hat is engaged. Love that print, a beautiful royal blue. And truthfully, Mike, you're giving all the commentary. I'll just elaborate quickly here. This is just a zigzag series for me. I think these teams are evenly matched. I think Sanchez had the advantage, and now I think it pulls back towards Cease. Cease is 4-1 this year at home outside of the division. This is where you want to buy this guy. And Toronto is 5-2 at home off a series opening loss. They've actually underperformed significantly in the first game of a series, and they come back strong. And Philadelphia is actually 0-1 in game 2 of a road interleague series off a game 1 win. Only other one this year at an AL East team. They did win the opener at Boston and lose game 2 at Boston 3-1 to Sonny Gray, which I actually like even more. Dylan Cease and Sonny Gray are both right-handers with a lot of spin. Very similar types of pitchers, if we're being honest. So I think it really correlates to that. Final point on this, Wheeler did actually catch a win last year at home in this June series against the Blue Jays with emphasis, 11-4 over Jose Barrios. You want to talk about the line? Philadelphia was favored heavily in that game, minus 165, minus 170. And this drops down to basically a pick 'em with steam on Toronto. Absolutely elite look. Guys, let's ramp up the energy. It's Tuesday. You're at work. Get some coffee. Let's talk some ball. Type it in the chat if you guys are tailing. Blue Jays, let's cash it, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, Mets-Cardinals opening up a series in Queens tonight. Dustin May at Freddie Peralta. Pretty elite level pitching matchup here, if we're being honest. these guys did face off earlier this year. Dustin May really looking kind of agreeable. What's going on here, Mike?
I talked about this last week and the importance of kind of keeping your records and knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them, if I could take a cheeky little reference there. And unders have not been the thing. And if you look at some of the sharp respected betting information, I get a series of roll-up reports from some of these gambling houses, and they show unders are just getting slaughtered. Sharps are getting slaughtered. And then you look at a game like this and you think, well, the Mets coming across country, they've been a little stagnant, and so have the Cardinals offensively. But then you look at these pitching matchups, and you don't have to get too far for me to go over when it comes to Dustin May. But how about Peralta? You put Peralta, in a situation at night, and he pukes runs. Nighttime overs are 15, 3, and 2 for this fella when he's at home. And they're allowing less runs a game than the league average. So it's kind of like the opposite effect out there where you say, boy, this team's mowing people down and they're shutting them out offensively. And then Peralta trots his big ass up there and home run, home run, home run. Bring a glove to the ballpark tonight, because I think 7.5 is a fair number. I like the Mets to win this game as well. I mean, this is going to probably end up being a double dipper for me. The Mets home favorites after a win. I've gone on a 6-game winning streak. As a home favorite, they're on a 3-game winning streak. In series game ones, they're on a winning streak out there. And you don't want to be involved in the Cardinals business to start a series off. So I like the over 7.5 is my best, but I might get to the Mets on this one as well.
Maybe I could talk you off. I got another buy hat here. And, truthfully, I don't really like these teams, but situationally I like this. The buy hat is engaged. We're taking the Cardinals on the plus. Woo. And what you're looking at here, the first thing that really stood out to me that kind of led me towards the full handicap. Freddie Peralta actually faced off against the Cardinals earlier this year on the road. He took a loss in 11 innings. He pitched well in the game. The Cardinals won the game 2-1. It was Matthew Liberatore. The Mets were favored in that game, minus 171. Okay, so do the equation with me, guys. Minus 171 on the road should come up at home to at least 30 points, around minus 200. Particularly because Dustin May is supposed to be projected far worse than Liberatore. So in theory, I have this line around 220 for the Mets. It's about 90 points short. So I started to look at Dustin May, and I was reminded of something that I mentioned the last time this guy pitched. I watched him in the clubhouse giving a little talk to the reporters about how he's no longer focused on strikeouts. Of course, he struck out 9 in his previous 2 games, so maybe he's not focused on it, but he certainly can sling the rock here. But if you look at his road starts this year, outside of getting slaughtered at the Detroit Tigers on a Saturday, his first road start of the year, interleague, weird environment, just at an early time, he's been excellent on the road. 1 earned run at Miami, 2 earned runs at San Diego, only 1 earned run at Milwaukee. He has found something. He is back to who we thought he would be for the Dodgers. The guy is elite, and Freddie Peralta here, in my opinion, could struggle at home. We have seen this guy take some home losses this year. We've seen the Mets struggle to support him with runs. His previous 2 home starts both went to extra innings. He has labored in this stadium. The line is short. I like the Cardinals. I do agree with Mike on the total. You could see some more runs. I think the Cardinals could explode off Peralta, if I'm being honest. The buy hat is engaged. Take the Cardinals, and that's cash. Mike, any further comments, or keep it moving?
I like the lid, but, it's interesting what you said. I'll have to go back and listen to it because, you look at Liberatore, surprisingly enough, he's one of the most profitable pitchers in baseball this year. And then Dustin May is not one of the most, he's one of the least profitable pitchers in baseball. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic. I guess it just comes down to think about the pendulum and the shift and the swing here. I like the lid. So, don't get me wrong. Sharp ass lid there, but look at that thing, man, in all its splendor. But you got a team that clustered like 20 straight losses, and they're probably going to find some ugly coin flip wins where they shouldn't. So, anyhow, we'll see how it plays out down the line, but I still think, the Cardinals showed me something that last series with runs against the Reds, and I think we get there again today. Like you said, Peralta's vulnerable, and I certainly think May's vulnerable as well. So this should be a fun game. Fun game if you like runs, I think.
Agreed. Great conversation, and let's keep it moving. You guys in the chat, drop your comments. We're trying to engage you guys. Give us a little energy back. We love to bring it to you guys, and let's go down the line. Next game on the card, 7:40 in Chicago. Braves opening up an interleague series tonight at the White Sox. Grant Holmes at B. Isert appears to be an opener, I believe. Originally, it looked like Eric Fetty. This is Brandon Isert. He is definitely an opener. Mike, Braves laying 159, high total. Any thoughts?
I think the Braves kicked the snot out of the White Sox tonight. It's not just because it's Isert. It's not Isert's fault here, and he's probably getting the blessing of going in there as an opener because you got this Atlanta team that's finding their groove. They continue to just show offensively that they got the goods. Pitching wise, all right. I mean, yeah, they're probably an acquisition target if you think about it. Scooble down the line. Like, wouldn't it be incredible if they added one more big arm to that bullpen or to that pitching staff? And then it gives a guy like Holmes the opportunity to say, all right, buddy, shit or get off the pot, proverbially here. But for me, this one just comes down to a spot with the Braves. And you look at it and say, boy, what an incredible opportunity. 6 games at home, and then they're making the shift on a winning streak. And that, boys and girls, is bad news. You know why? Because you can't wait to get the fuck out of town. I've been home for too long. Get me on the road. I need some strange. I need some nights out with the boys. I need to play some cards on the plane. And it's 15-1 over the last 20 years. 13 games in a row on the dub in the last 16 spots out there. It has been nothing but glory. Atlanta Braves find a way, probably on the run line.
Yeah, I agree. And as I said, I got the whole hat collection going tonight. I like this one too, and I like this side. The buy hat is engaged, Mike. We're seeing it tonight. I honestly expect to win 10 units on this card. And that is not some sort of like guys walking into the casino with an ego or not. This is really a nice card. I totally agree with what you're saying. And if you look at Grant Holmes, the guy is just a road pitcher. He's 5-0 on the road. They're all margin, every single one. 2-0, 8-2, 4-2, 8-6, 8-3. Out of division, hammer Cincinnati by 5. Got the Rockies by 2. Hammered the Angels in his only interleague start road, 8-2. What you're going to see here is Holmes is going to shove, and the Braves lineup is going to absolutely light up this pitching situation for the White Sox. If we get to the White Sox, we're not abandoning the White Sox whisperers. I know some people in the chat probably a little let down. Kelly talking about it. But we'll maybe get to them later in the series. But tonight, no. This is absolutely a Brave spot. I see a blowout too coming. Mike, we'll revisit this in the best bets. I think we get run line as well, maybe in all. Take the Braves and let's cash. Next game on the card, going to Kansas City. Royals Rangers opening up a series tonight. Stephen Kolek against Nathan Eovaldi. Interesting matchup here. Kolek already did face the Rangers in Texas against Mackenzie Gore. Nathan Eovaldi coming off a really pedestrian start, 11 hits against in his previous start. Mike, the only thing I could see in this game is the line looks pretty damn high on the total. Are we seeing the kind of an outdoor summer event here in Kansas City tonight? What do you think?
Kolek makes the list as profitable pitchers. Granted, he's way down the line. Through his 6 starts on the season, he's plus 2.35 units as a whole. So just below him is the Taj Mahal at 2.17. So you got to give some credence to what's going on out there. But I think just offensively, Texas just seems like the better team between the two of these. The guy that I'm looking at is Eovaldi, and I like this bounce back spot for Eovaldi for a couple of reasons. We have those intersecting points that I've been talking to you guys about. We're not talking intersecting zeros. Park it, everybody. But 23.6% strikeout rate. He's averaging 9 per 9. So he's right at that whole number that we look for. I talked about this yesterday when we talked about Billy the Kid Warren. This guy's been just stomping on overs. Again, same numbers as Billy. 5.5 threshold. 80% have gone over in his 10 games on the season. And he's got a situation now where we've got Kansas City fading from an offensive perspective. 22% strikeout rate against righties on the season, but zoom in the last 14 days, they're at 24.5%, which makes them 5th highest in baseball. So for 6 strikeouts, Nathan Eovaldi at a plus 120 price tag. That's going to be my player prop of the day for you guys. Eovaldi over 5.5 strikeouts.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Tough game for me. As I said, the only thing that stood out is the line appearing to be very high. Both pitchers very efficient theoretically. Kolek, last home start, actually threw a complete game shutout against the Mariners on Saturday, May 23rd. But 9.5 is a stinky line for 2 really high upside pitchers. I think this, truthfully, we could be seeing the maybe juice balls, maybe just energy, summer wind. It's not summer yet, obviously, but it is late spring. It's warm in a lot of these stadiums. Not pitcher friendly.
It's got to be hot as fucking Kansas City tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is not pitcher friendly at all. It's going to be hard. And there is a fitness aspect to that too. Like we think about these guys just throwing a baseball. It really being out there for like 2 hours on the mound, really just torquing their body. It's actually a lot more fitness oriented than people might think. So I think the over would be noteworthy, at least from the number being so high. I would agree, Mike. I think the Rangers probably get the dub. Couple comments on that. I might get to the over officially later in the day, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card. Speaking of over numbers, 840 in Colorado tonight. Cubs opening up a midweek series here against the Rockies. Colin Rea at Tomoyuki Sugano. The line is 12.5. I mean, like, what is going on here, Mike? What do you think?
One of the most profitable under stadiums in baseball. I'm going to do it. It's supposed to be hot too, and it's going to fly out of there, I suspect. But, I want to get to the Rockies. I don't want to be in the Cubs business, especially after watching them do what they did to my guy JT Ginn the other day. I still can't let it go. The Rockies, after a day's rest, have been a fade team as well. So once they, it's almost like you talked about that heat and kind of that conditioning element that goes into it. It's like when they're especially at home and you're up at that altitude for a couple of days, it drains on the body. But the Rockies, off a home loss as a home dog, they're 92-80. Now you look at that and say, well, that's not incredibly profitable. It's 53%, which I get it, but it's plus money. Now that's why I said, is it enough plus money to go after, the fading the Cubs on the road in the first game of a series? Now you got a little look. You're 23-9 in those spots this past year. Rockies as home dogs, 500 on the nuts, 93-93 over the last 22 years. So look, I guess the way I got to look at this one is saying, yeah, I get the overs, but Rockies dogs home high totals, 57 and 41, won 6 in a row. I'm going to take a stab. I know it's contrarian and it's probably just an ugly looking situation here, but under 12.5, the money's almost dead split. 49% of the bets, 55% of the cash are on the over. I'll take my chances under 12.5.
We're disagreeing on this one, but for me, this is just my model. This is what I do. If I see a number like that, I go over, period, because it's just such a noteworthy spot. These teams last year faced off 6 times. The totals were 7.5, 7, and 7.5 at Wrigley. 2-0-1 to the under, so all unders at Wrigley. Road lines 11, 11, and 10.5. So this is higher than all 6 last year. 2-1 versus the over. Cubs in Colorado. Very noticeable split. And the fact the books move it up to the highest line in the last year and a half just speaks volumes for me as to what's going on here. Very interesting buy low on Sugano as well. Sugano is actually 5-0 versus the home under. And I think this is what I've talked about recently on the show here, is that oftentimes in early June, things flip for pitchers. Is this guy going to run a clean sheet to unders at Coors all year? Or is this where it finally comes to a halt? I think it does. And I think Colin Rea is going to struggle in this spot. This guy's been absolutely terrible on the road for the last month and a half. Just inflated totals out the ass. He pitches well at Wrigley. The lines are usually 8 or 7.5. They're unders. Honestly, this is just a line read for me. I think it really speaks volumes to what's going on here. But, Mike, obviously anything can happen. There is dispersion. There is variance. Any final thoughts?
I got to say, you picked in your sample, I'm surprised I was able to keep quiet because you got the Cubs and you're talking about how they're 7s, they went unders. At Wrigley, that tells you that the wind was blowing in. And Wrigley, when the wind is blowing in, is notoriously under. When you see anything over 10.5 at Coors, the wind is blowing traditionally out. And so, yeah, those should probably find their way to the over. But I think that's just that is one of them outlier fashions you have to look at without even knowing what the wind was doing. It should be known. And that's where a lot of people just automatically play. Now we're seeing Cubs unders at home at 6.5s, and they're not quite getting there. They're finding 7s and 8s now. So things will stabilize, but I'm going to speculate in this case here. I mean, look, even the first 5, you catch the first 5 under 7, 6.5 at plus money. I know it's not going to be pretty. Probably Colorado in the first 5 is a good way to attack it now that we talk about it, because you kind of got me thinking about this Cubs in the travel spot. And guess what? Surprisingly enough, you got to hand it to you say it way better than I do. I'll just say Sagano. I like the way you say it there, my friend. But what is he, a top 10 pitcher in profitability this year? Got to respect that, man. You got most of your not most of them, but you're playing a good sample of games at home. And you're the top 10 profitable pitcher at plus 5.7 units in 12 starts. Dude, I don't wear a hat, but if I did, I tip it to him. Should be a fun one.
I've been trying to get a Rockies hat for the last year. There's just no good prints. The team is so terrible. Like, these companies have to print hats for them. I swear. How does MLB even give them uniforms? I mean, come on. It's so terrible.
Even the brand ambassadors don't want to develop uniforms and hats for them.
I refuse to buy a Rockies hat until they're at least 500. That's what I'm waiting for. But also, I mean, I need at least a nice print. You guys should see the Rockies prints. They're disgusting. They're like children's hats, like circus hats. Whatever. We'll get to a Rockies hat tomorrow or later this year. But Mike, just on one point on your Rockies take, you talk about the line being short. The Cubs last year were favored all over 200 to 250. So this is definitely pulling towards the Rockies as well in the matchup. I see Rockies, I see runs, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, divisional baseball in Anaheim tonight. Game 2 of this series, Astros, Angels. Kai Tang at Walbert Urania. Last night, the game went to extras. It was pretty much the definition of a coin flip. Both teams had precisely 8 hits. The Astros did score a run on an error in the top of the 10th. I've said this before with some of these coin flips. To be perfectly honest, I'd almost rather actually just flip a coin and see if I win or lose as opposed to wait 3.5 hours for it. But we get to run it back again here, Mike. Any thoughts on tonight's game?
I tell you, yesterday was such a great Astro spot. I'll take it. If you want to consider it lucky that they got the win, I'll own it. But it was just a great spot for them. And I don't see as much clarity in this game today. You know, the Astros off a game in extra innings are actually a fade team over the length of the last 20 plus years. It doesn't happen for them very often. They usually win, and they win in somewhat dominating fashion, but they're 153 and 116 in those spots after extra innings. And so I would have to look to the Angels or nothing. It's probably not. I don't know if I'll get there in this game. I mean, the Angels are plus money, knowing that you fade the Astros off of extra innings win seems like it makes a lot of sense to me. I'd have to defer to you in this one, Chuck.
Yeah, I'm staying the course. I'm going back to the Angels. I think they get the dub tonight. And I agree with that data. I think it's a nice little sell high off the extra innings win. We're taking Angels at plus 113, but you go through it even further. Houston's actually 2-6 road in division. And they're 0-1 in this spot off a previous win. Of course, last night being their second win. And again, Mike, we're talking about just the dispersion of it. And it's just interesting to note how these results come to final. The Angels did have a lead in the 9th. Kirby Yates blew the save. He didn't blow the save because he was notably awful. There was a walk. There was a stolen base. There was a base hit. So did he really get rocked? Not really. It was kind of a dispersion, blown save. It wasn't like a historically awful one. And then in the 10th inning, if you guys watch the highlight, the Astros had runners on first and third. There was a pop-up on the infield caught by the second baseman. The second baseman fires it to home. Jose Altuve is coming down from third. He would have been out by at least 5 to 10 steps. Like, it wasn't even close. And Logan O'Hoppe, the catcher, just fumbles the ball up, and Altuve scores. So you just talk about kind of insanity. All that being said, as we said, we want to sell Houston here, but you also want to buy the Angels in this spot. They're 6-5 at home in the division. This is a good home team in divisional play. And their last 3 losses in that window, all in extras. So they're either winning or they're losing in tight fashion, which means they're actually due to improve even more. And speaking of improvement, I give you Walbert Urania. Mike, we've been trying to figure this guy out for the last month and a half. I think we have him figured out. He's great. He's 4-2 at home. He's 4-0 last 4 at home. He's 2-0 at home in the division, both in similar line ranges. Texas and the Athletics both laid about minus 125 and lost to this guy. His home numbers, 8 earned runs, less than 1.0 whip in 34 innings pitched. An absolute final point on this. For anybody who followed the San Francisco Giants the last 2 years, you guys know what I'm about to tell you. Kai Tang did not look good pitching on the West Coast. This guy completely fumbled the bag with the Giants. I truly believe in environmental energy, and I believe in just the idea that a guy goes back to California where he was awful, he could really not feel the vibe being in this state. I think he could get rocked. I actually could see a reverse run line hitting for the Angels in this game. I love Urania. I think he shoves. Take the Angels in. Let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line. Next game on the card, Reds-Pirates game 2. Chase Burns at Lucas Giolito. Giolito campaign 1 with the Padres. Burns looking like the stopper. Mike, what's going on here tonight?
This is going to be it, boys and girls. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, but Cincinnati, you had a nice run, and now your time is done. And it's not just their fault. It's not Burns' fault. He'll probably come out there and pitch a gem, but we have talked about the horseshoe. I mean, look, if you turn this thing over, this fucking Cincinnati Red Sea, it looks like a horseshoe. And it's been up every one of their asses offensively. Every time they put the bat to the ball, it gets across the finish line, which is, as we've talked about before, not sustainable. You got the number 1 bullpen in baseball on the San Diego Padres side of things out there. And challenge Ellie De La Cruz not being in your lineup. I mean, he's not as big an impact as a Shohei Ohtani or a Aaron Judge, but that's a big piece to take out and tinker with out there. He's a key factor to your success. He plays offensive ball. He's certainly not afraid to get the bat on the ball, but moreover, he plays defensive ball. He's a great baseman. He does his job out there, kind of gloving it down, being athletic. You talked about that earlier in terms of the heat and getting athletic on the field. So I'm going to take the Padres. I'm going to take a little. I hate Giolito. I can't stand the guy. He's definitely not on my list of anybody I want to be backing here, but I'm going to back the Padres as a full, not Giolito as a 5 here. And I got a plus 108 for doing it. So I'll take my shot.
This is one of those games for me where I'm back in the Reds. Okay. We disagreed last night. The Padres, we're just seeing this series sideways here. But what I'm looking at is just Chase Burns. I mean, the guy is an ace. He's 4-0 on the road outside of the division. Only 6 earned runs in 23 innings pitched. 4 home runs against. So, guys, do the math with me. 6 earned runs, 4 home runs. He basically doesn't give up a run if there's just runners on base. It's all solo shots. So the guy's incredibly efficient. And we can't say the same thing about Lucas Giolito, Mike, as you said. The guy is incredibly inflated. 1 hit per inning this season, almost 1 walk per inning. Do the math with me there. That means that every inning he pitches, there's basically 2 runners on base. I think that's going to help out the Reds' bats significantly. And final point on this, you're seeing zigzag in this home stand for the Padres. Loss, win, loss, win. This would lean towards a loss. The Padres are not great. Neither are the Reds. I've told you guys to sell the Reds almost every single day on the calendar. Not coincidentally, the last time I told you guys to buy the Reds, it was a Chase Burns road start on Tuesday, May 26th at the New York Mets. 7-2 win. I think Burns is a buy pitcher. I think he's the isolated diamond in the rough, if you will, for the Reds. And I think Lucas Giolito is a sell point. I do have the Reds. Mike has the Padres. We will revisit it later. It's 9:40. It will be into the morning on Wednesday morning at Final, and we will see. And we will keep it moving. 2 late games on the card tonight. Those were late. These are slightly later. Nats Giants game 2 of this series. Adrian Hauser against A. Alvarez. I think that is also Andrew Alvarez.
Andrew, yeah.
Yeah, last night we saw a pretty crazy game. The Nats scored 3 runs in the top of the 9th, blown save, win the game 4-3. I told you guys yesterday the under was the best look. Mike, we might see less runs tonight again. I'm not sure. What do you think?
It's tricky one for sure. Alvarez, Hauser, don't know much about Alvarez. I would probably go back to the under in this one again. I think 8.5 now. They've moved it up. I think they're, can you explain the movement is the situation? And I always say, if you see it move and you feel like it's funny, can you explain it? So we talked about that with the Cubs and Coors factor. Now, again, it's hot as fuck and the wind's probably blowing out in Coors. So sure, I'll be contrarian and take my chances. But I see it goes up to 8.5 because, Alvarez is on the bump for the Nats and they score a lot of runs. So to me, if I can explain it and I think I'm getting value behind it, I want to be involved in it out there. And then if you can validate it, and I can validate that with some proof points out there as far as some trendage is concerned and the totals are concerned, you don't take much to get me to the under in San Francisco, right? First and foremost, offensively, they're borderline anemic. But 8.5's not the first game of a series in the first half of a season are historically under. They've gone under 57% of the time in a 621 game sample. So sometimes you don't have a big sample and you got a big factor. Giants home unders on Tuesdays for whatever reason. Taco Tuesday doesn't play well in San Francisco. 38-8 to the under in those spots as well. So a couple things I'm looking at here with this game, and I think probably it does make sense to me to lean to the Nats. It's a short line for the San Francisco home spot, but I'm going to take the under 8.5 here.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're going to see another under in this game. And interesting dynamic, actually. This is the second series this year with these teams. The series where you saw the Giants play at Washington opened up with a Webb over and then a Hauser over. How interesting. This series, we open up with a Webb under, and now we get Hauser in game 2 as well. And last night, I told you guys the under was the best look in the game because the Webb game on the road was 10-5. Over 9 moved down. This is the same thing. Hauser at Washington, 7-6 final at Cade Cavalli on a 9.5 moved down. So there's your 13 over moved down. This guy Alvarez, I did a little research. I think he's going to shove here. He's from California. He went to Cal Poly. Mike, little trivia, just off the top of your head. Another big-time pitcher in Major League Baseball right now who went to Cal Poly. I'll give you a hint, so we're not too long. He plays in the AL West, starting pitcher.
Jose Siriana?
No, Brian Wu.
Brian Wu! You got to say it with some authority, my friend.
Brian Wu! But yeah, so Brian Wu and Andrew Alvarez both were at Cal Poly together. We've talked about this with a lot of these other pitchers that went to the same schools. We said Stephen Kolek, Davis Martin, Texas Tech. A couple of these guys went to the University of Florida, calling each other after wins. This guy's going to go out west, and he's going to shove. And it's going to be a tight, low-scoring game. Not going to be long-winded on it. It's the same thing we said last night with the Webb game. You're going to see a pitcher's duel tonight. Take the under, and let's cash. Final game on the card, Brewers Athletics game 2 in Vegas. You saw it last night. If there was ever, talk about a showcase game that was perfect for Las Vegas. 29 runs, Brewers 15, Athletics 14. No, that was not the Packers with a late field goal over the Raiders. It was the Brewers A's in an absolutely wild baseball game. Tonight you get a redo. You get a higher line. JT Ginn against R. Gasser. I got to be honest, not familiar. Robert Gasser. Mike, it's a high line. This park is just an absolute bandbox. Back to the over, or what's going on?
Robert Gasser out of the University of Houston. Come on, man. He used to be a Padres second rounder. No, I had to look it up, but the books sure learned their lesson fast after yesterday. Maybe they heard our breakdown. Third inning, the game went over the number. I was live doing the NBA show there, talking a little bit about just the mismarked numbers on this thing. And they go from 11.5 to 12.5 to 13s now. Are they overcorrecting? I don't think so. We talked yesterday about the Pacific League out there, the minor league ballpark with an over emphasis there. The Coors, field effect for pitchers and kind of everything else that goes into it. And you're graded negatively if you're a batter and you can't smack home runs out there. 420 feet on the first home run of the day. Bomb, longest home run of the season out there as well. So very much, hitter friendly to say the least. The thing for this one, the Brewers scraped it together and came back to catch the win. I don't know. I'm going to take the over 6.5 in this game for the Athletics team total. I don't like the Athletics as a favorite. This is a wonky spot too. You've talked about this before, and I like when you said this the last time. You got a minus 112 on the Athletics, but you got a plus 1.5 at minus 163. So books think it's a one-run game, and because I think it goes over, I'll take the over 6.5 for the Athletics team total.
I agree. We're not selling high here at all. We're continuing to buy the market. This is going to go, I think, again, 15 plus runs, maybe into the 20s again. Anybody who saw this last night, 11 home runs, 34 hits. So again, we're talking about sustainability versus unsustainability in statistics. Even if that pulls south a little bit, you're still looking at probably 5 to 7 home runs in the game, which is nuts as like a more or less like confirmed projection for a major league game. But you look at the park, it has small dimensions, it has wind patterns that are advantageous to hitters, and it is actually at a high point in terms of the graph of the earth. It's the second highest ballpark just beneath Coors Field. So it really is all boxes checked. And you're going to see JT Ginn labor. This guy walks a lot of guys. The last thing you want to do is labor in a ballpark like this and put runners on base for free. And it looks like you're kind of getting a bullpen game here for the Brewers. This is just, Mike, I remember there was a series about 5-7 years ago in London, and the first total was like 10.5, and then it went 13, and it went over again. It's just what it's going to do. Remember that when it was in London? It was like a small.
Wasn't it Yankees Red Sox? And was it the Red Sox that sucked at the time? And everybody was like, "Oh, they got fucked on this thing." And then all of a sudden, they jacked up like 17 runs.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember that.
Absolutely, and this is just what happens. These small parks, and it is what it is. That's it for this one, guys. We're taking the over, and let's cash. That's just over an hour of 15 games, data abundant baseball, Mike, and we got best bets.
It'll be interesting to see is if they make that Las Vegas Athletics ballpark in orientation of an over park, like a Coors, right? Like, it'd be fun to have another park out there where you're seeing jacked up runs and get everybody excited in a city like Las Vegas. Kind of always felt like it was interesting to have a ballpark like a Coors. But if you could add another one to the mix, everyone likes runs. I like runs in the best bets as well here. I'm going to go with that Mets over 7.5. Like that spot today. I like the Toronto Blue Jays at even money. I will take Colorado first 5 at plus 135. After talking that one out, I think that's a good look. San Diego plus 108. And what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. I gave you guys Eovaldi over 5.5 strikeouts. And I'm going to go Atlanta -1 at minus 125 official spot there as well.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys
6, 7. Jesus.
I'm gonna end up having like 15 plays today, and it is what it is. Best bets though, we'll go with the buy hats. We're taking the Orioles at plus 108. Okay. Taking the Pirates at minus 108. Taking the Marlins at minus 138.
Oh, I like that.
Taking the Yankees at minus 113. Taking the Blue Jays minus 104. Cardinals plus 117. Braves minus 144. Angels plus 113. Reds minus 117. And we're going with the over over 12.5. You can still get in the market in Las Vegas. That's about 10 plays. I will have more. And as we said, we're data abundant. It's 15 games. We could have 40 plays. If you're capping props, you could easily have 40 plays, which of course brings us to the idea of bankroll management. I'm not throwing $10,000 on every one of these plays. Smaller unit sizes, intelligent betting. You are in the avenue to success in baseball. With more plays, variance evens out, and we dominate. Mike, let's do a parlay.
Okay. How about we go San Diego? No, I'm just kidding. We're head to head there. San Diego, Colorado, or Cincinnati. I don't like to see those in our best bets, but hey, we are where we are. We got a lot of head to heads today too, so it's going to make it incredibly difficult. I wrote down Toronto. I wrote down Atlanta. Let's go Atlanta.
Yeah.
Let's go that Athletics team total over.
Yep.
And let's go with how about? Can I get you on that Minnesota under? Wait, how about Tampa Bay? Did we say Tampa Bay and Boston? You like Tampa Bay?
I don't like that game on the money line. I could kind of see it going either way. I like the under in that game though.
How about we'll go Miami?
All right, Miami. I like Miami.
I'm with you on that Miami spot. Atlanta, Miami, and the Athletics team total over 6.5. And that's going to be a lot of fun, man. What a show. What a lot of back and forth. We got a lot of head-to-head spots that you guys can ascertain through the course of the day. On the replay, if you're checking us out, smash that thumbs up and like button for us. We very much appreciate it. If you guys are checking us out on Twitter, check us out over on the YouTube channel. We got all kinds of content, live shows. Man, today we started the day off, Shark, 12 a.m., midnight Eastern. The UFC Freedom 250 breakdown with VB MMA and Ramon Scott. 9 a.m., 9:30, Ramon Scott came back out there and rolled through the entire sports card. We're on at 12. Boys are going to be doing some afternoon baseball soon. We got 5 p.m. pre-gaming, NHL tonight. My man Shark making it right for the squad out there. Tell them what's up and where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, guys, manage your bankroll. And we're here all day, every day. Sports Money Network. It is the place to be. And the place to be always, more than that, is right where you guys are right now. Take care of yourself. Enjoy your life. Manage your bankroll. And we will be back tomorrow for some getaway games on a Monday. That's an hour and 5 minutes of the most comprehensive, fast-paced, intelligent MLB plays you will find. It is MLB Bases Loaded on this Tuesday, June the 9th, 2026. For Mike, I am the Shark. Stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine.